Hey, good day, viewers. Welcome back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio. That is I. Happy New Year to everybody. Here we are in 2021. I want to give a short little talk about how can we cope? How can we keep our heads above water? Many of us have been trapped, right, alone or with our significant others, attempting to avoid the pandemic and do all we can to be responsible adults. I'm looking ahead for this year to be a better year. I'm looking ahead for medical science to come out with this vaccine. And as soon as it is distributed and we are vaccinated, we can get back to somewhat of a normal life for all of us. So let's talk about ways that we as human beings and as secular humanists and non-believers can cope with this thing called COVID-19. Quick 4 little points I want to share with you, and you have, I'm sure, many more that you can add to it. Number 1, personally for me, this has been a time for self-improvement. I think of Socrates' quote many thousands of years ago, right? That courage is the ability to conquer not other people, but courage is the ability to conquer yourself. The courage to be kind, the courage to be just, the courage to be wise, the courage to cultivate yourself, that moral self-cultivation. Here we are alone. I'm alone with Christine, my wife, and our cat Beatrix, our sweetie pie, right? And this has been a time for me for personal growth because when you're alone with someone, even someone you love, it does force you into that area of tolerance, more tolerance for someone who is an individual. We in the secular world believe in this individual autonomy, right? We're not joined together as one flesh, like I used to preach decades and decades ago. No, 2 individual people, but we have to learn how to respect and to accept other people in spite of our somewhat differences. What a time to grow and expand in these areas when most of us are living these isolated lives. Number 2, something my father, yes, the retired Pentecostal pastor who disowned me, of course, back in 2018. But you know what? We never really agreed too often on things, even when we preached together in the 70s and 80s. He said something that I agreed with. Fact is fact, truth is truth. It doesn't matter if it comes from an atheist or a Christian. He used to say from the pulpit, and as a little boy, my brother, my sister, and I heard this repeated often. When you think about other people, getting your mind off yourself, that will alter your mood. It makes you feel better. It's time we get our minds off ourselves. Now, right now, I've had to exercise this truism, and all of us should, because we get caught up into meism. Woe is me, the self-pity type thing. I'm guilty of it. It's been hard these last 9 to 10 months. I've been unable to go out and do what I love to do on Saturdays, feeding homeless people, and then proceeding to a destination here in Austin or other cities promoting secular humanism with the signs and the literature that I do, and going out to different humanist groups and doing public speaking. Can't do that. Instead of feeling isolated and complaining, when you get your mind off yourself, that helps. Now, there's a principle that I've tried to apply with my clients for years. I remain a personal trainer for my clients. I do not go in their home right now. I stopped that about 2 or 3 months ago. But I continue to train them. I continue to train them within their homes via Zoom and via FaceTime. Thank you, modern science and technology. But there's something that I've always attempted to do through the years in my business and in my secular humanist activism, and even back in my old Pentecostal preaching years, was to focus on others. When I go into my clients' homes via the internet now, I go in thinking, what can I do to make that person happier today? I had a client the other day. She's in her late 60s, a very strong Christian, a Fox News type person. We have totally different worldviews, but we're good friends. We find common ground. She's a wonderful person. She lost her husband to cancer 3 years ago. He was a good guy too. Now, she's lonely. She's all alone in this home. I go in and I think about her. The other day, she was lonely. She was depressed, all by herself in this home because of COVID-19. I focused on her. I asked questions about her. These are principles we can apply. And it's interesting how this works. When our minds are off of our own little problems and focused on how we can better someone else's life, whether they're a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, a fellow atheist, it doesn't matter. We're all human. It's interesting how that works, how that makes you feel better. It made me feel wonderful to inspire her, to listen to her. I call that the lost art of listening. Yes, listening to other people, focusing on them will make them feel good and make you feel good. Number 3, here's a little tidbit of advice. Helping other people that are less fortunate. Secular humanism promotes altruism. People that are less fortunate, we want to elevate and promote and help them. Unable to go out, feed homeless people, it's killing me. Unable to go out and do the activism, it's killing me. So what do? Rather than sitting here disgruntled and complaining, because I really don't have it that bad. Christine and I live in a cozy little apartment here. We have a heater. We have an air conditioner. We have a roof over our head. We have food in our refrigerator. We have running water. We have a toilet. We have a shower, a bathtub. All the basic necessities to have a good life. We have nothing to complain about. But there are people out there suffering, fellow human beings, because of COVID. Some have lost their jobs. Some cannot purchase enough food for their families. Some need help to pay their rent and their mortgages. Now, there's a way to continue giving during this pandemic online. I was feeling sorry for myself the other day. Oh, woe is me, even though I had nothing to complain about. And I thought, I'm going to get my mind off myself. I went on my computer, and I have a list of secular organizations that I attempt to give to weekly. Not a lot, we're not wealthy, but every little bit helps. And I went to my 4 different communities I give to. I chose one because I put them on a rotation schedule, right? And it was the turn for Planned Parenthood. I went on my local Planned Parenthood website, donate, clicked, and sent them a few dollars. Just that little act made me feel good. I was able to contribute to the needs of less fortunate people. It made me feel good. It got my mind off myself. I also try to give to the food bank, Central Texas Food Bank here. And all of us have food banks in our various cities. American Humanist Association, of course, I give to, and Foundation Beyond Belief. These are ways we can continue to give to the less fortunate. And number 4, the last one. The last I checked, we as Homo sapiens, wise man, wise woman, we as human beings remain a social animal. We need that connectivity with others to find meaning. Meaning comes from making a difference in other people's lives and having relationships. We can stay connected virtually, the safe way now, until it's safe to go back to normalcy. Thanks to science and technology, we have FaceTime and Zoom. And to me, it's a lot better than just a phone call. We can stay connected. Christine and I, on Christmas Day, did Zoom talks and FaceTime talks with our family, my children, my grandchildren, her family, her son, her parents, her sisters and brothers. Also, other humanist groups. I've entered into Zoom with many other humanist groups throughout the country. Not just speaking for them, but just going and making new friends. The other day, I found a new community in Jacksonville, Florida. Went in and dove right into their group and met some wonderful new friends. Getting my mind off myself. Thinking of others. Staying connected with people. And one more thing. About mood changing, altering your mood from self-pity through this pandemic to other people. Christine has a friend she hasn't connected with since her college years. They reconnected and she got on FaceTime and I watched Christine listening, the art of listening to another human being, to this friend of hers for over an hour, connecting on Zoom or FaceTime. Listening to this person share. She was lonely. She didn't have a community to go to. Just that, I saw Christine's mood alter. She felt good, right? It does feel good to stay connected to friends, family, loved ones, other people throughout the human race. So let's be optimistic here as humanists. We know there's the light at the end of the tunnel. We do have hope as humanists, as non-believers. We don't have hope in this pie in the sky utopia, what believers believe in. We have hope in reality. Things are going to get better. But in the meantime, let's stay focused on these 4 little points I gave. Very simple. Gentle reminders, and there are many other things that we can do to keep our heads above water, focus on becoming better people, and helping others until we can get back to normal. So thank you so much for watching the Preaching Humanist. Remember to let the light, let the compassion, and let the hope of secular humanism shine. Have a wonderful day.